talk to him. Yeah, and if tell me shit, I feel so wrong for things I'm setting aside.
Vibe Show 97.9. Welcome all. What is today? I've been working so much, I'm losing track of my day. So today, Thursday. Today is Thursday. Happy Thursday to everybody. I hope everybody had a super blessed, amazing day today. I actually had a good day. The weather's great for a change, after being hammered with everything that we've been going through or whatever. But I hope everybody is having or had a blessed day today. Today we have a very special guest coming on the show tonight. I'm super excited about my special guest coming on the show. I think this one is going to be really, really informative. It's really a blessing to be able to have her on the show, to be able to share the experience and learn a lot. There's a lot of things that I want to learn as well. So this one here should definitely be a treat. I'm talking about yoga therapist, writer, public speaker, and a lot of more other things too that this queen does as well that we will get into. But I'm talking about the one and only Mel Love. What's up, Melly?
Hey.
Hey,
Hi.
what's going on? How you feeling?
Yeah, real good to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for allowing the Vibe Show this amazing opportunity to get some of your time today. So we're definitely grateful, and I'm sure my listeners after this interview will be grateful as well. So thank you again for this amazing opportunity.
It's my pleasure. And it's midnight here, so,
See, we special like that. You stayed up to do this interview for us. Wow. So we're gonna dive into it. A lot of things to go over, and a lot of questions I wanna ask you as well. But let's start off with you being. Are you originally from Australia?
Yeah, so I was born in Australia, and I grew up in a small town, and yeah, I always wanted to see the world. I had it from a young age. I was really into performing arts. So I grew up, in a small town in Australia.
Now, we spoke off the air, and now you're in London. So,
Right.
going over your digging into your story a little bit, I found that it was truly amazing, and you have endured and been through a lot of experiences to get to this glow that you have now today in 2021. But a lot of people still suffer through a lot of experiences and mental experiences and stuff like that. Now, without going over your story and digging into your story, I wouldn't have never even fathomed, because I'm meeting the Mel now. So I would like to share the experience with my listeners and anybody else, to encourage anybody else who may have went through those experiences or going through those experiences right now, trying to figure out a way to still be strong and still make it through, because you've experienced abuse, violence, and a number of other things. Can we talk about those experiences and what gave you the strength to make it out?
Right. And this is all the work that I do and continue to do. Is a lot of us struggle and suffer with things, and you might have two identical people go through the same thing, and both people respond differently.
Right.
So for me, I was always positive from a young age, and there was a lot of stuff going on around me. A lot of things from my parents and their parents, and it was a long sort of, generation after generation of suffering.
Right.
And I remember just kind of being this, I love to perform, and I had this smile that I was born with. So no matter what happened the night before at home, I would get up and I would go to school and I would smile, and everyone would think I was this happy child with a charmed life.
Right.
It got me through for a while, this positivity. But at a certain point, it did wear down on me, and I think it does, at some stage for everyone.
Right.
It's so deep. There's so much I can talk to you about it. But I think now, today, and for the listeners and anyone struggling, is that, as a human being, and there's a thing to remember, there's not a cure for being a human being.
Absolutely.
And as a human being, we have all the range of emotions. So, we're going to be sad from time to time. We're going to be upset. There's still going to be things that go on. Right. And for me, it's about embracing all of the different sides to ourselves. So sometimes, it's about knowing that things are temporary, with our emotions. So sometimes.
So wait, let me ask you this though, not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No.
So from that aspect of it, with knowing you, so basically, like, that's a part of the mental aspect of it. Just knowing that basically, that these things, that we're going to go through some things.
Yeah.
How, to take those things that we're going through and use those as tools to build inner strength to endure and make it through. Just trying to understand.
Yeah. So I guess everyone wants different things from life, know. So for me, I felt very disconnected and very alone at certain times. And I think that I know that there will be other people who feel the same. So I feel like I do the work to feel connected and to get in touch with all those parts of me that I rejected and that I was ashamed of. And as a child, I felt like everything was my fault and all that stuff. As an adult, we still carry all that stuff. And I feel like the way to get through it is you got to feel it again. We use so many distractions. We drink, we go to the fridge, we have the sugar, we have all these coping mechanisms, which only get us so far, and I think it's about recognizing that, we will have tough days, and not to feel that we have to be perfect and happy 24/7, because that kind of sets us up and, sets that expectation. And then when we're not like that all the time and we think that everyone else is like that, we feel again like we're a failure, or, and it adds on to that already, that sense of sadness or that sense of depression or darkness, that, I'm not like everyone else who seems to be shining 24/7 and happy.
And even that could not be real, huh?
Right. Yeah. I fully believe that we are all going through stuff and we will continue to go through stuff. And it's about sitting with that, the relationship with ourselves. And I think many of us, I know I do, there's that critical mind, and I can sit here and talk to you and judge myself the whole time, and there's that version of us that we want to be and we strive towards. And sometimes we miss out on sitting here and now with however we're feeling now and say, it's okay. I might be feeling anxious now, I might be feeling sad now, but I can still show up and I can still talk to you and I can still talk to others. And occasionally there'll be a smile and there'll be a laughter. And, you know, there's still the other stuff under the surface there as well. There'll still be that anxiety and that sadness from time to time. I don't think it's the fact that we have to eradicate it and that there will always be a sense of healing ourselves 100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my belief. I feel as a human being, we're going to feel all that stuff, you know?
Right. Absolutely. So at what point would you say that you came into that mental understanding? Because, you know, at a young age, you know, you fell in love with the performing arts, you know, and though with doing those type of activities or whatever is somewhat kind of like an escape in a way from reality in a way. At what point would you say that you actually really got to a point to where you understood it? Was it at a tender age when you were younger, or you think that transition happened as time went on and you got older?
Yeah, I mean, it's an evolution, isn't it? Like, I'm constantly learning. I'll never say I've got it 100% now either. Right. But I think the biggest learning thing for me was I was married and coming out of the marriage and then living on my own and being in the house sometimes and wanting to point the finger at someone else. There was no one else.
Now that's deep right there. That's deep, Mel. That's deep.
So yeah, I'd be like, okay, I think the work has to start now. Because as much as I would think I didn't blame others or that I wasn't trying to be the victim, I was, you know, and I still fall back into that at times. But yeah, the biggest awakening for me was living on my own. And yeah, just my journey to become a yoga teacher, that was another awakening as well. Because they encouraged us to do things, to drop things that we would normally do. So I gave up alcohol and I gave up little things that I would normally do. And that again, the more stuff I take away, the less I can run and the more I have to sit with myself and face myself and feel the stuff. And
so what was now interesting, the transition from being married, and I thought that was interesting because I never thought about it like that, you know, with having a significant other or a person that you could actually blame things on. I never really thought about it like that. And then going from that to having to basically deal with, you know, your own reality or your own, you can't really blame anybody because it's just you. Wow, that's deep right there.
Yeah, and I don't think he could have done anything right enough. I don't think he could have loved me enough. You know, I said to him one time, you know, I apologize for everything. I was wrong about everything. And he was like,
He was shocked, huh?
Yeah, I think, you know, I had so much work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And on myself. And up to that point, I was just projecting everything onto him. You know, you don't support me enough. You don't do this enough. You don't do that enough. When I didn't really like myself. But to be honest, I didn't like myself. Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
You're a very likable person. Now, you fell in love with the performing arts and you studied acting and singing. Interesting. So you got some vocals on you there. No. I ain't gonna put you on the spot.
No, I was one of those kids, you know, in those shows that say, "Oh yeah, I'm really good," and then they start to sing and I did an album with a group of friends when we were young, and we used to tour. I think the thing about me is I was a performer, but I'm not a natural. I'm not a natural singer. Like no.
Right. Okay. Mel, I'm gonna let you get out of that one right there. I'm gonna let you slide. I ain't gonna put you on the spot. Now, you studied acting. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's interesting or whatever. Acting. Let's talk about that path on with your acting credentials.
Sure. So I think, I left home when I was 16, and I had a dream of becoming
16?
famous. Yeah.
You just decided to just one day, like, I mean, what did you do about money? Or you didn't think about all of that? Or like, how? I want to talk about that.
There's so much to talk about. So my home life was not good.
Right.
It was not good. It wasn't a good place. And I got into really dark places where I didn't want to live anymore in that environment.
Right.
So for me, the way out was performing arts, and I was from a small town. So at 16, I was like, that's it. I'm going to go to this performing arts school in Sydney.
Right.
And yeah, I went. And I got a job working in a restaurant, and I performed, and I was just, at that age, it was just like, it wasn't not going to happen. I was just I was just like, I'll make it happen.
Right. Like anything, as long as I'm away from home, out of this environment, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a wake up call for me, because up to that point, the performing arts was escapism for me. And I felt from the small town that I was in, the teachers were really supportive. And I felt like I was really good. And then I went to Sydney, and I went to this really good performing arts school, one of the best in Australia. Right. And there was a lot of competition and a lot of girls in front of the mirror fighting for their space, saying, I'm the best, look at me. And for me, at that point, the first year that I was away from home and studying acting and singing and dancing, I lost myself. It's sort of like everything had caught up to me by then, because it was kind of like, this is it for me. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to escape my old life. Right. And then I was there, and I was like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not that good, actually. And I just looked in the mirror every day and said, you're shit. And, I was just really hard on myself. And I did do the acting, and I was told I wasn't very good. And
really,
it was real life. And before that, I had my teachers, and they stroked my ego and said how good I was. And now I had these people that were in the industry and really good at what they did. And it was kind of tough love, like trying to toughen me up. And I just wasn't built for it at the time. So yeah, that was another journey, because I wanted people to support me. I guess like my family, where I felt it was lacking, in my childhood at times. And it was kind of like dog eat dog and fight for your place. Right, and I just, it was tough.
I don't want to just take you all the way back there. I want you to stay in the space that you're in. You know what I mean? But I definitely could feel the energy that it was a lot. It was a lot that you experienced and that you went through. But along the journey, you learned a lot, about yourself. Yeah. You learned that you were stronger than what you thought you was. Because I mean, look at you now. You obtained so many different skills. You choreographed shows. You taught dance, yoga. published 2 books. I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing, Mel.
Yeah.
So just imagine all of that is a part of your story. You have an amazing story, or movie to, eventually expose to the world, which would be something just over the top, because a lot of people don't make it through all of these type of situations or whatever to actually get to this point where you're at right now, smiling, happy, in a good space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think that alone right there is inspiration, not only for myself, but inspiration for a lot of people out there that may be feeling down in spirit. Now,
Yeah.
one thing that I've always been interested in, but didn't really have a lot of knowledge about it, I think, because I don't really understand it fully, which was another thing that gravitated me to you, was really truly understanding yoga and what it actually does for thine self. Let's talk about that a little bit. What got you into it?
So I'd always on and off, I was always drawn to it. And I remember at school I was very into Buddhism.
Mm.
And yeah, I got really into yoga when I was going through my divorce. Actually, it was what got me through. I wanted to turn to something healthy rather than using my old vices that I would have done, which were not so healthy.
Right.
And I remember going to yoga and lying down at the end. We call it shavasana, which is you lie down still at the end. And I remember like tears would be streaming down my face. But I feel like when I do yoga and when I teach, it's hard to explain, but there's a real connection with life lessons. Like, it's just this ability to be able to connect with yourself. But what I want to be careful in saying is that there's so, like anything really, you can have a good used car salesman and you can have a dodgy used car salesman. So the yoga world and spirituality, it's a tough one for me, because again, I did turn to spirituality and yoga in the beginning as another form of escape, like I did with my performing arts.
Right.
And so the way I teach now and why I call it yoga therapy is because I study psychotherapy as well. And I study something called the Alexander technique, which is mind-body connection. I have a very good teacher and he has his own spin on it as well. But yoga for me is, we can sit here and talk, or we can just talk to a psychotherapist, but it will never be able to replace the feeling, experiencing something and making sense of something ourselves. And yoga does that for me. And that's what I want to offer people when they come to me. It's the space to just exhale, just to breathe, and just to give yourself that space to feel things and to make sense of things. As part of the yoga practice, there's breath work that we do. There's movement, there's stretches, there's stillness, and there's the discipline with it. I've over time, I'm a vegan now. I don't eat anything from animals. That's not to say that you can't do yoga and eat meat, but there's all these different things. For me, it's about union. That's what it's about. Different people over time, and us in the Western world, we've kind of made it into something else, and for our egos, different people, but for me, I want to have that connection in the studio, that we're all equal and we all learn from each other, and that it's the journey. You know, sometimes we get so fixated on doing the handstand or doing the lotus or the warrior. I want to get that. I want to get that. And we lose the present moment and just enjoying the movement, the transition from one thing to the next thing. For me is so beautiful, because it just brings you back to yourself. And I've got a picture I wanted to show you.
Oh.
Not that I did, but it's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's so.
Okay, now explain that.
So this is kind of how I feel in the work that I do. So we all start off as like in this fetal position.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got all these tree branches coming off.
Wow.
Then,
so is that stress and all that stuff that's up there? Like, wow, because just looking at that kind of gives me like, you know, seeing all of the things going up.
That we all have the capacity, because I see it as like we're the seed and we've got all these branches coming out from us, but over time they freeze up or they get, you know, contracted, and we close in and we separate ourselves from others, or we put on the masks. And for me, yoga and the other therapy that I do is about really opening up those tree branches and connecting, you know, with others and expanding and coming out into the world and, you know, taking off the mask. And for me to be able to sit here with you and say, you know, yeah, I'm nervous, but I still want to be here with you. And just to feel all the energy, the vitality, because I think sometimes we feel that things are too big for us, you know, all this energy and this connection, and we've been hurt before, so there's that wanting to not show ourselves. And for me, yoga just strips all that away, and you're there, and you just get the opportunity. I really, I always say just the space, you know, that space.
Right. So let me ask you this. So, you know, human conditions, you know, because through experience, you know, what are some of the human conditions that you find that people suffer from the most? Because I'm trying to understand, because I'm probably suffering from some stuff, and you know what I mean. So that's why this is very important to me. I'm really taking this in.
Yeah. So I think, you know, the biggest suffering that I've found that I'm working through and that I see in others is that not wanting to go somewhere within them, not wanting to feel something, and I'll elaborate on that. So we might have a posture, even, you know, like some people you'll see they'll be like this, you know, they'll be like this all the time. And if you say in a class, just start to open up your chest, and it can bring up feelings, right? And someone will instantly go, no, back to here. And the work that I've been doing is you stay in these positions and you just stay. And then you notice, you're like, holy crap, what is this? And you start to feel this energy building up.
I'm feeling something right now.
Yeah. So it's really powerful stuff. You sort of, you know, just being able to take the time to just sit still. And it's almost like, for me, I would say to you, okay, now just place your hands on your thighs. And now just move your hands in the opposite direction and just pause. And you don't have to get anything right. And now just put one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach. And exhale out through your mouth and make an AH sound, like an AH whisper. And let the in-breath come in through your nose. And when you take an exhale, just breathe out through the mouth. And you've got nothing to get right. You hear what you hear. You feel what you feel.
Wow.
And you just allow that space to be there. And there's no expectation that you have to get anything right.
Wow. How long do you do? Are you, man? Yeah. How long do you do? How long? Like, what's like? Is it like a time, or you do it as long as you need to, or like what's like a good, time to just do it?
So for me, I do it with my mentor. I call him my mentor, my teacher, and there's no sort of set time. Like it's recommended that at least once a day you just lie down on your back with your legs bent so that your knees are facing towards the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And you just lay there and you don't close your eyes. You just look at the ceiling and you notice your peripheral vision, and you're just there. It's almost like you're just taking a pause. And then you start to notice the habitual ways that you're being, like I'm sure you've noticed it, or I notice it within myself, that sometimes I'll be doing things and I'll be, it's as if I'm going to get into trouble, but there's no real signs of danger. It's just like I'm in this anxious fight or flight stage and I'm gripping. Right. And there's no real reason for me to do that. And it's just stuff that we haven't properly integrated, worked through from our childhood. So when we stop reaching, because when we start to feel that, we then perhaps blame it on the partner or blame it on our boss
or our parents, or
go grab some food and shove it in, the sugar to get the endorphins going, or the alcohol. But if we just practice more just sitting with it, but sometimes we don't have the capacity, so we need someone to help us do that. But when you say how often should I do it, I say as much as you can, as much as you have the capacity to do it. And you'll just notice that space within you will grow, where you're not trying to fix yourself. You're just kind of hugging those bits of yourself that you don't really allow to the surface. And then there's not so much energy needed to reject those parts. I know it sounds a bit like.
No, actually, it actually makes sense what you're saying. Like I'm just tripping out on the fact that I never thought this is a whole different way of looking at things and thinking about things and viewing things, because we do, have a way of beating ourselves up because we may have, maybe we're not where we want to be at in life at that point, or maybe we're not in the relationship that we feel we need to be in, or maybe we're not getting that support, or maybe we hate the job, or maybe we lost the job, or maybe this whole COVID thing is just driving you crazy. That is just, so many different facets of things that we're taking in, like you said, intaking, right? That we're all of these feelings and all of these emotions that we what I mean?
Call it stimulus, all these stimulus that's coming.
It's a lot. So thinking about it like that helps.
And the work that I do, it's about not changing the stimulus, because you can't change the stimulus. So you start to look at your own nervous system, because I'm sure in myself, if I haven't slept well or whatever, my trigger points are a little bit not as good as, so it's never about out there and the triggers. And again, we say there's this movement at the moment, ditch the bad vibes and, get everyone away from you. But the work that I do, it's like, no, they're your teachers. Like, notice what sets you off. Notice what starts to get your heart going, or those people you really dislike, and just try to pause and think. And it's not about blaming yourself. Like, if you don't blame them, then it's yourself. It's more just getting inquisitive. Like, that was interesting, my reaction. Let me explore that. Like,
identify with those feelings.
Yeah, and just, what's that? Or and then you sit with that, and then you start to notice, that person reminded me of my mom or my dad or my brother or my sister. And why am I so angry about that? Because they made me feel like a failure, and I've got so much shame and I've got so much sadness. So rather than wanting to show my vulnerability, I get more angry and I want to push them away from me or yell at them. So all these stimulus that we get, that's our teacher. That's the awareness to show us that there's something within us that we haven't quite yet worked through or made peace with within us.
Wow, that's deep. So, there's so many different things. So like meditation, dance, mind zero, so many different things that I'm interested, like somatic emotional model, transformational breathe work, and plant medicine. Like, can we talk about like all of these different things? I'm just trying to understand, because this is interesting.
Sure. So the work I do too, I kind of, I experiment on myself in a way. Like, I try everything. I'm open. I want to dive in and I want to keep learning. And then I use what works for me. I recommend that to others. And I want to try all these different things so that I don't have this narrow-minded view and, just get stuck here. So a lot of the things that I've tried that you've mentioned, the plant medicine, I can go into that in a bit. And the type of breath work and things. I personally, for me, I found it was very aggressive. And I'll explain that in a minute. Whereas the work I do now, it's more like little baby steps, and it's a lot softer. The mind zero stuff, the somatic work. So with the plant medicine, I did something, and I'm not too sure how much I can say because I know it's not legal all around the world. But I did.
I want to know though now. You're gonna have to tell me. Can I get it off the air?
Yeah. So I'll keep it vague-ish. So there was something I did. It's called the God molecule. It's compared to. For me, I died. I had the experience of dying. It was extremely traumatic for me. And after I did it for a few weeks, I was still recovering. But what it did do, what I felt it did, is it forced me to see things within me that I didn't want to see. So it was very aggressive. It was almost like my eyes were peeled back and this energy was saying, you're going to look at this. And in a way, it's what I asked for, because I felt like I had a block and I was stuck. And I was like, show me. But it was terrifying. There was beautiful moments to it as well. And plant medicine, there's so much to it, so much. It's like I only know this much of it, and I mean, that's another journey that people will be drawn to or not. And I really believe that there's there's a lot of benefit to it, and just finding the right thing for you. I'm also wary that now that at times I've been looking for the magic pill, so to speak, being a bit of a bliss junkie. Like, I just want to do something and then everything's fixed and I'm this perfect human that's always calm and can be in any situation and smile and be loving and walking on light all the time. I wanted the magic pill to just take it and I'm fixed, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, that's not where I've got to now. I realize, that's not my journey. And the breath work, again, there's transformational breath work, and some people call it rebirthing. Again, that was very interesting for me. It's almost like at times like you're hyperventilating, but I think the idea is that it shuts off your mind to some extent. Again, it's being in the body, embodied therapy. And for me, with the therapist, and I've never done this with anyone else, after she was nursing me like a small baby and she was stroking me. Yeah. And they encourage you to not swallow, because then you're swallowing all that stuff and you spit into a bowl, and every time, some people vomit and you convulse, it's fun.
This is deep.
Yeah, lots of work, and all this stuff, it's not easy, and it's stuff that you don't just do it once. It's kind of like you return to it and you keep practicing it. It's like, any form of exercise, anything with the body, you've got to, do it, keep doing it, working with the body. But I really believe that the body is such an intelligent organism, and that often we've got to get out of its way. Like we try to control it, like even to the point of the body breathes itself, and we mess it up by trying to do weird things. Sometimes not intentionally, but I just, with all the work and then being aware of yourself and just pausing more often, you can see how you get in the way of the body doing its thing. I think it's an intelligence, and that, again, through my learnings, your immune system has a memory, it has an intelligence. We always think about our brain, but there's been evidence to say that you've got a brain, in your chest, your heart and your gut. Whenever we're nervous or something's not quite right, we feel it in our gut, or when we don't trust people. So all this work that I do, it's very embodied, not just sitting and talking to someone, but using these different ways, like with the breath and with movement, to feel things, to keep coming back to the body.
Man, like, I got a long way to go. Like, I'm how do like, I really need to, connect and understand these things, because this is important. So let me ask you this: with learning so much and understanding, and continuously learning more about self and more about the human condition, the things that we put in, so just your opinion, do you think that it's actually safe with all of the vaccination intakes and stuff like that going into the human body? Like, I would like to get like your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's controversial, isn't it?
It is, but I'm just saying, like, it's deep.
And I have a lot to say on the topic. Whether I'll say it or now, that's enough. But there's a whole lot of control, right, in our society.
Right.
Like, and whew, I will never agree with the thing that one thing, and this is an obvious statement, that one thing is right for all, right? The
Right.
one vaccine, the different kinds, is good for every single body, and we know how it's going to react. And I'm not going to get into all the conspiracy theories now, but
Well, I'm definitely a conspiracy theorist myself, so we got that in common. So we definitely got a lot to talk about, Mel.
Yeah, there's a lot of control and a lot of money making, like even with the prison system, you
Absolutely.
know.
Oh, you deep. I didn't know that you were on that level.
Like this, like stresses me out. But yeah, it's not in everyone's best interest. But you know, I say the line a lot, and I hope it doesn't sound like a cop out, but I trust everyone's path. For me, it's not for me. But I'll be curious how much freedom they're going to take away, like to say I can't travel if I don't have it, and the effect it'll have on the kids. I've got 2 children and they go to school, and already I'm getting things from the school about, you know, what they can and can't do. And it's like, so much control and so many things taken away. And just when I sit in on lessons, like history lessons with the kids now, because they've been doing homeschooling, I'm like the stuff that we get fed from so young, straight from the government in through the schools. But yeah, I mean, we've rushed for the vaccine to come out, right? It's been a rush because we needed it. I don't know enough. I haven't been there to watch the trials. I don't know exactly what's gone into them. And I just think how strict I am with my diet, with being a vegan, like it just goes against everything that I'm about, to sort of just sit there and happily take something that I really don't know what it's going to do, just trust.
Because we're supposed to trust it, because they're saying that, you know, I think the thing that bothers me the most is the sense of urgency with trying to, you know, we need to get everybody vaccinated. We need to get everybody vaccinated. We need to get, it's like, it's, you know, and it's fed through the media outlets. It's just like, it's the main thing.
I think the thing that's so amazing, and I'll see if I can hold this up. There's like 7.8 billion people, and I don't know how they do this, but if you actually look at this right now, like, I don't know if I can get it up, but it's got like deaths today and births today. It's just constantly ticking, right? And how many times have you been to the doctors? And I don't feel comfortable talking about it too much. We'll talk about it offline. But there's so many times we get sick and no one can tell us what's wrong with us, right? Like for sure. You know, like even with flu, it's not like, yeah, you've got flu and what strand. You know, so, but all of a sudden, you know, with, you've definitely got COVID, and we can definitely tell you it's COVID. And this is definitely like, I'm like, and the ability for us all to stay home and the amount of control, I'm like, it just shows how much control the government has. So why didn't we have this kind of importance on hunger and war and many other things? Why didn't we focus all the attention?
We didn't go crazy like this with the AIDS virus that's still out there too. We're not even talking about that anymore.
Right. And people are still dying all the time of things. So yeah, I think a lot of people get it, that there's more going on, you know, there's more going on. But the thing is too, you know, some people are just like, I want an easy life. I still want to be able to travel, and I don't want my freedoms taken away. But in saying that, giving your freedom away, because you're allowing people to do whatever they want to your body in a way. But yeah, it's a sensitive topic, right? A really sensitive topic, and I that are very supportive. of getting the vaccine, and are actually working in places to support, you know, the rollout of it and stuff. So I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but yeah, I'm just a real believer that one government can't tell a whole country what's right for it. I've worked for too many big organizations, because I also work in finance as well, and I've just seen, you know, some very big companies, how you have a few people in a room thinking that they know what's going on within the company. They can't even get it right. So how's you know, the government and gonna do what's right for the whole population, you know, a country? Logically it doesn't make sense, right?
No,
so yeah.
We definitely gonna talk about this, because I got somebody that I could talk about this with now. Yeah, of course, this is what I do. Now, let's talk about, like, in closing, how people can actually get connected with you. Is it through via website? Let's put your social platforms out there, because you know we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this. So you're coming back on the show.
Well, I'd love to do a session with you. We'll do a session with you, and you can do all this stuff.
Absolutely. Let's put that information out there.
Cool. Yeah, I've got a website. You know, people can see the services I offer via there. It's mellove.info. Yeah, and I'm on Instagram as well. But yeah, the website sort of gives you a little bit of history and shows you what I do. And people can book via there. I'm also on every Wednesday night, I offer a free service for people maybe can't afford it, you know, maybe lost their jobs or just struggling. And I offer free things, and I work in the community, and I work with people that are terminally ill and suffering from cancer. So I like to give back as well. So yeah, I like to help.
Just amazing, and I have connected with such an amazing person now. It's just amazing. You guys, right now we have on the screen right now, if you want to take this information down, you can visit Mel Love website at www.mellove.info. Please, you guys, get connected. You can also follow Mel on Instagram at MEL_love_. Please get connected. What could we is it anything that any projects or anything else that we can look forward to that you got in the works that's coming up that we can be expecting, or anything else that we want to plug in that I could kind of get the secret? Can we could drop that out there?
I wish I had something to tell you right now. It's sort of been, you know, obviously with getting back to the studios and doing hands-on stuff, I've been looking forward to that. I've been waiting, and it looks like that's going to be in April. So I've been waiting for that to happen before I can actually be with people. But yeah, I'm doing lots of more study and more work on myself at the moment. So I've got lots more to offer people, as always. But I've got nothing to plug right now.
Any online training that we can get? Any classes that you're offering online?
Yeah, it's all on the website. But yeah, I do things via Zoom. I have group classes and I have one-to-ones. That's really rewarding for me. You know, and seeing the closeness with people coming as a couple and just being able to work with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, again, I want to thank you for this amazing opportunity. We got to do this in chapters, Mel, because it's, you know, it's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot. You definitely here.
It's a lot. It is a
Um,
lot.
any you've been dropping gems the whole interview. In closing though, I always ask my guests to leave my listeners with some encouraging words. Anybody that may be going through tough times, feeling low, spiritually, mentally, physically feeling low, a lot of people out of jobs, just a lot been going on. And a lot of people are really going through. Can you leave them with some uplifting words of inspiration or warm you can tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying before about there being 7.8 billion people, in the world, and the world needs you. It needs every single one of us. Everyone is such an individual, and there is a reason that you're here, and there's something that only you can contribute, that each individual can contribute, and that's important. And the reason I do work is to reassure people that you're not alone. And that's why when we start to talk about what we're going through, so many people in the room will say, I feel the same way. So just to reassure people that on your darkest days, when you feel like you can't get out of bed and you feel like there's no light and that you're always going to feel the way you do feel and that it's too much for you, just know it's not too much and that it's not permanent, that nothing lasts forever, and that you're not alone. There's so many people that feel exactly the same way that you do. And as you find a way to get through it, others feel a way to get through it. I feel like we're all connected. We're all connected. So as we each take that step, as if we're all walking through muddy water, thick mud, sludge, we can pause for a moment and take a breath, but we walk through together. We walk through, and that's life, and that's beautiful. And we're here for the experience. We're not here to be perfect. We're not here to fix things and then the job's done and then we live the rest of our lives as these fixed people. Right. It's about, each day something new will come up, and it's the process and the opportunity to keep working through stuff together, and if you're struggling, ask for help, because there's so many people out there that can help. You don't have to suffer in silence or suffer alone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. For me, the Vibe team, Source, Jacqueline, Vet PR, we all want to thank you again for sharing with us and allowing us to experience this amazing experience with having you on the show. We can't wait to have you back on here again. Maybe we can open up the phone lines and allow people to call in with questions.
Yeah.
We'll do that. And I just, we have to get you back on here again, and we're wishing you more blessings and more success with everything that you're doing right now with healing and teaching. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm gonna hit you up. It's the Vibe Show 97.9 with my special guest, the one and only Mel Love. Y'all guys, make sure that y'all get connected. I'm going to put, let's get that website back up there again. If you want to get connected for more information, visit Mel Love website at www.mellove.info. Also, you guys make sure that you get connected on Instagram. Follow Mel Love on Instagram at MEL_LOVE_. Get connected. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification to stay connected, because we got more amazing experiences and more guests coming up in the future. But you got to be connected to be notified, so that way you'll always be connected. Also, you guys can also log on to our official radio station website. That's www.thevibeshow979.net, where we're playing music 24/7. We're playing that good music 24/7. So make sure that you get connected on our website. Also, go rush over there to the Google store and download the Vibe Show 979.net mobile app, available right now. Also, if you're loving us and you want to support the cause, for donations and support, you can always Cash App. That's $ Vibe Show 979. We'd even take a penny to support the cause. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. I am your host, Kano the Don. You can follow me at the Vibe Show 97.9 FM on Instagram. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Breathe, meditate, and go back and watch this replay. A lot of information. Mel, love you. Be safe. It's the Vibe Show. We'll see y'all next time. We out.
Let's go. Let's go. New shit. Hey, yo, Bert. Hey, talk to him. Yeah, now tell me, should I feel so wrong for things I'm setting aside?